Just another day in the wonderful world of Nottingham Forest as Nuno drops some absolute bombers in his press conference. Welcome to my reaction. Afternoon guys, hope you are doing well and welcome to God knows what video number this is of the day. I'm going to talk you through this Nuno stuff, the latest developments on it, and potentially how this all plays out. So if you're enjoying the content, if you're worried, if you're thinking what the hell's going on, let me know by hitting that like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well if you are new. We'll get the boys' reaction to this on Grumpy Old Reds tonight at 8 o'clock, so make sure you're tuned in. That will be live. And if you want the details about what I believe has caused this trigger point over the whole Nuno Marinakis thing, then go check it out on Patreon. There's an exclusive there. Scan that QR code even, or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, so let's get into this, right? So I've been quite busy for the last hour or so I've caught up with the presser now with Nuno. And he's talking then, was asked the question about, well, I feel he instigated it, if I'm honest with you. He was working this whole Marinakis thing into the line of questioning from my subjective opinion on it, right? And he said that the relationship between him and Marinakis, they used to speak every day last season. And he says it's not the same now as it was then. When he was pushed on it and saying, is it better or worse? He basically said, no, it's worse. I'm paraphrasing a little bit of it. And he's not getting that direct line into Marinakis anymore, or a lot less than he was last season. And then he was talking about why and things, and he was talking about the squad, the depth. We weren't ready. He did that interview, he said, with Sky 2 weeks ago. He felt he was very respectful in what he said about that. And yeah, I don't think they pushed him enough on it. And there was some quotes about him saying, you know, there's no smoke without fire, and so on and so forth. Now, the speculation has been completely rife since that presser. People, well, the bookies slashing his odds to 2-1 odds on to be the first manager sacked. There's been all kinds of crap coming out on social media. Andy Reid taking over. Ange is already lined up, Glasner this, that, and the other, right? So I just want to kind of work you through where things stand right now. So I got told this morning, basically from the club, right? I'm not going to say who, but Forest are not looking to sack Nuno. Now, this was before his presser. We put it out on the video earlier on. And the stance is Nuno's doing a fantastic job at Forest, getting us European football, so on and so forth. What I can't tell you is I don't know since the presser has anything moved forward or moved backwards, if you see what I mean, in terms of Nuno's position. Has his outburst in this presser now triggered Marinakis to want to act? And we know that Marinakis will act if he feels that he's been disrespected, if he feels Nuno's crossed a line or anything like that. There is an opportunity, there is potential, should I say, for that to happen. But at the moment, for me, I think Nuno is not happy, not so with Marinakis, but with someone else, and that's Edu. Now, I cover the details of this over on Patreon, but let's look at it at a kind of superficial level here, where Edu coming into the club means there's another reporting line inserted in for Nuno. And what do I mean by this? That Edu is now doing a lot of stuff with the recruitment. We've seen Douglas Luiz, clearly an Edu signing, Igor Jesus, Jair Cunha. There'll be Edu signings as well, because they were linked. Well, at least Igor Jesus and Douglas Luiz were linked with him for many years when he was at Arsenal. So when Nuno's talking about some of these players, or the depth of the squad, I think there's a hint in there that some of these players are not players that he himself would have handpicked or cherry-picked to come into the squad. Now, if he's saying that about Douglas Luiz, then someone needs to give him a shake, because Douglas Luiz is an exceptional player, and Edu bringing him in is just outstanding. The other thing I would say is Nuno needs to know his place a little bit as well. This is the Forest structure. This is the hierarchy. It is not up to Nuno to dictate how the structure above him is. That's up to Marinakis. He's the one putting the money in, and he's the one invested into this club. Managers can come and go. Owners can come and go, right? But Forest comes first. And I think that's an important point that needs to be reiterated. So if Marinakis has decided, for the greater good of the Marinakis organization, where Forest will come under, that Edu is going to advance us and be planning further forward than maybe Nuno's looking, for example, tough luck to Nuno. It's Marinakis' decision. Now, you can say that obviously Edu wasn't there when Nuno was instated, and Edu's been officially there since about, what, June time? So you can see where there has been change. Now, if we roll back to the start of, well, to just before the transfer window, and where we had the whole Leicester thing with Marinakis and Nuno on the pitch, and everyone was pushing the narrative and agenda that there was beef, that Nuno should leave. Obviously, Gary Neville had to get involved. People are trying to tie that back into this. Now, I don't, and this is just my personal opinion on it, I don't think these two things are related. Why? Because Nuno signed a contract after that at Forest. There was talk early on in the summer that Nuno was going to quit, that he was going to leave, and what have you. But the fact for me that he signed a contract after the whole Leicester Gate or Taiwo Gate, whatever it's labelled at, tells me that there was no issues in there. So I don't think we look at that. What we look at is what's happened in this transfer window and with Edu coming in. I think the real beef here is Nuno and Edu, not Nuno and Marinakis. And I feel Nuno feels that Marinakis has sided or is siding on Edu's side. And obviously he's higher up the food chain. So I hear that, right? But I'm overall not happy with Nuno saying this, if I'm being honest with you. I think that if there is any beef or any issues, then he must have Marinakis' number. He must be able to demand a meeting with Marinakis, and they could thrash it out behind closed doors, get it sorted out. Now, I get it, Marinakis is a hell of a character, right? And to do this, like, once Marinakis has made his mind up, he's made his mind up. I hear that. But Nuno has a strong personality as well. Nuno has the respect of the team, the staff, within Forest as well. So he has some weight in this. And I think these discussions should have happened off air. Even if Marinakis has refused these discussions, I still don't like the idea of Nuno sitting there talking about it publicly and insinuating the conversation, because I don't think he was asked directly in this presser. And to be honest with you, like, do I think he goes? I guess is the main question here. As I said, I got told Forest are not looking to sack him. My thing here is that my personal opinion now is that almost from that presser, you could read into it that Nuno wants to be sacked. And I think that if that is the case and that's the angle he's going down, I don't think that's a good look for him, to be honest, as in how I would see him in my eyes. If he doesn't want to be at Forest, because we've had this conversation, if you guys remember, about this time last year. We've had it at the start of the summer this year when there was links for him going to Saudi, for example, right? And we're now having it again 1 week into the start of the Premier League season. If he is really that intent on leaving Forest, and I think he is an honourable man, then he should have just handed in his resignation and shaken hands, or not shaken hands, and walked out the door. Because if he is there trying to force himself to be sacked, then I will lose respect for him, because there are more amicable ways to do this. It feels like, if I was to give you guys an analogy, it feels like, you know what, I'm with a girl, I'm a bit bored of her, and I'm not man enough to break up with her, so I'm just going to ignore her for a bit until she gets angry, and I'm going to anger her, by not answering calls and what have you, and then eventually she's going to break up with me, and I can say, well, she broke up with me, it wasn't my fault, I'm the innocent one in this, right? Probably not a great analogy, but that's kind of how it's starting to feel, looking at this scenario. So as things stand right now, I've seen nothing or had any or seen or been told anything to say that Forest are looking to sack Nuno. I think right now they're sitting down and reassessing after that presser what's going on and what their strategy is going to be. But my read on Nuno's thing is, if I'm looking at it through my lenses, it feels to me like maybe, just maybe, he wants to be sacked. But how do you guys read it? Now, we're going to break this down further. As soon as more stuff develops, we will let you know, right? But we will be live at 8 o'clock tonight to talk it through on Gore, so make sure you're tuned in there. I'm sure those boys are going to have a lot to say. If you want to know the whole Edu Nuno thing and why it all kicked off, check it out on Patreon. Link is in the description, or in the comments, sorry. Or you can scan the QR code. Make sure you've hit the like. Make sure you've subscribed. We'll see you at 8. Come on, you Reds.